Hi there, it's Miracle. This is a video from my teenagehood room, and these are my teenagehood bookshelves. I was planning to do more videos in this room in May, but that didn't happen because it's more than I imagined busy with family and friends. So yeah, but today I'm very excited to bring you my TBR for the Reading Women Challenge Readathon. This is a 1 month long readathon hosted by the Reading Women podcast, and one of the hosts is Kendra Winchester, our fellow booktuber, and the other host is Autumn. I really love their podcast and I listen to every episode of them ever since I discovered the podcast last year, so I highly recommend you to check it out if you haven't done so. And this readathon is aimed at to complete half of the challenges of the Reading Women podcast yearly challenge, which including 24 challenges and 2 bonus ones. But you don't have to finish all 24 challenges in the end of this year, which means you don't have to finish half of them by the end of the June. You can pick out the ones that you are interested in. For example, if you want to finish 12 challenges in the end of this year, the aim of the end of the June will be complete 6 of them. I have so far completed 8 out of the 24 challenges of the Reading Women Challenge. The first one I complete is the book by a woman in translation. I read The Last Quarter of the Moon by Chi Zijian, which is a Chinese book actually, but I read the English version. And I also completed a short story collection and also a book inspired by fairy tale by reading the book from Jane Campbell, which is At the Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night. And I read a essay collection, which is The Feminism is for Everybody by Bell Hooks. And I read Lab Girl, which completes the challenge of reading a memoir. And I also read Mrs. Pettigrew Lives for a Day. This completes the challenge of reading a classic novel written by a female author. And I read several poetry collections written by women, so that completes the challenge of a poetry collection. And lastly, I read Sing and Bear the Sing by Jasmine Wald. This completes the challenge of reading a book from the shortlist of Reading Women Award in 2017. And I read a book from Virginia Woolf, which is A Room of One's Own. This completes a bonus challenge from the 2 bonus challenges. So to catch up with all the 24 challenges that I want to complete in the end of this year, I have to read at least 4 books in the month of June, which I think is very doable. So firstly, I plan to read Small Sacrifices, a true story about passion and murder by Anne Rule. This is a true crime story talking about a mother who killed her 3 daughters. This case sounds so heartbreaking and breathtaking, and I want to read more about it, and this also completes the challenge of reading a true crime story. I also want to read Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Shop Cafe by Fanny Flagg. This will complete the challenge with the food item in the title, and I have owned this book for a long time. This is a historical fiction talking about the story of 2 lesbian lovers, I believe, and I have started it like 1-2 years ago, but I haven't finished it, so I really need to start finishing my books. And the next book I want to read is The Good Earth by Perel Eisbach. This is a family saga of a Chinese farmer family, and this will complete the challenge of reading a book written by a female Nobel Prize in literature author. And I also want to read In Order to Live by Naomi Park. I think at this point of time, everybody knows about this book. It's talking about the North Korean girl's journey of escaping her country and move to South Korea. And I believe this will be super eye-opening, and this will complete the challenge of reading a memoir from an author who lives in the country different from yours. And the last challenge I want to complete before the first half of the 2018 ends is read a book from a local author or a book recommended to you in a local bookstore. And I want to complete this challenge by reading a book from Chinese because I'm not in China and I'm currently in Beijing, so I'm reading a book which set in Beijing and also written by a Beijing author. And this is 穆斯林的葬礼, The Funeral of a Muslim by 霍达. I believe this used to have a cover, like a cover, but I couldn't find it anywhere, so you gotta deal with the white cover. And this is a family saga about a Muslim family who lives in Beijing, and it covers 3 generations. The review of this book is very controversial in the Chinese reading community, but I'm really interested to reading it for a long time, so I'm going to read this one. So those 5 books left me with 11 challenges to do in the second half of 2018, and they are a fantasy novel written by a woman of color, a book set in American South, a book set in Russia or by a Russian author, a book in a viewpoint character who is an immigrant or a refugee, a book by a Australian or a Canadian author, a book published by a independent press, a book about someone with chronic illness, a book by a African American woman about civil rights, a book where the characters are traveling somewhere, a book that has been on your TBR the longest, a book in a genre that you have never read, and also a bonus challenge, a book by Flannery O'Connor. If you have any recommendations about those challenges, please leave your suggestions in the comment section down below. And also, if you are participating in the Reading Women Challenge Readathon, I'm very curious to see what's on your TBR. And also, I will have a recommendation video for the challenge of reading a poetry collection, so stay tuned for that. And more importantly, happy reading! See you next time. Bye!